Here is the complete script followed by the JSON block. Most people think getting legal residency abroad means navigating a mountain of bureaucracy, waiting years for approval, and parking a small fortune in a government account just to qualify. And for some countries, that reputation is completely earned. But in 2026, there is a growing list of destinations where the process is genuinely straightforward, the income thresholds are within reach for most retirees, and in some cases you can be holding a second passport in a timeframe that would surprise you. Some of these places are in Europe. Some are in Latin America and the Caribbean. And a few of them are not countries at all in the traditional sense, but offer tax and lifestyle advantages that rival anything overseas. As you will see, our top pick offers something the others simply cannot match. Without further ado, let us get into the list. Keep in mind, the figures presented here are approximations meant to give you a sense of the cost of living. Always verify with up-to-date sources before making any decisions. Number 15, Punta Cana and the Bavaro Corridor, Dominican Republic. Sitting on the eastern tip of Hispaniola, the Dominican Republic is the most visited nation in the Caribbean, and Punta Cana is its tourism heartland. Year-round warm water, direct flights from the US, Canada, and Europe, and a Spanish-speaking culture that is genuinely welcoming to foreigners all contribute to its appeal as a relocation base. The residency pathways here are among the fastest in the hemisphere. The Pensioner Do program requires a pension income of $1,500 per month, while the Rentista program asks for $2,000 per month in passive income. Both are straightforward by international standards. What makes the Dominican Republic genuinely stand out, however, is the citizenship timeline. Residency converts to citizenship in roughly 2 years, making it the fastest route to a new passport in the Americas. Monthly living costs come in around $1,400 to $1,600 all in for a comfortable lifestyle, with a one-bedroom in the resort zone running $600 to $1,100 per month. Entry-level property starts at $100,000 and scales up to $250,000 for something solid. On the downside, the resort bubble is real. Step outside the Bavaro Strip and the infrastructure gap becomes immediately visible. Hurricane season runs from June through November, and that is not a minor footnote for anyone considering buying property here. Number 14, Montevideo, Uruguay. Uruguay rarely makes the top of anyone's relocation shortlist, which is quietly a point in its favor. Montevideo is a compact, well-organized capital city on the Rio de la Plata, with a European architectural character, reliable institutions, and a quality of life that consistently ranks first or second on the continent. It is also, by regional standards, the safest country in Latin America. For those coming from the US or UK, the social infrastructure, functioning public services, and rule of law feel familiar in a way that not every Latin American destination can offer. Residency here is obtained through demonstrated passive income, with most applicants showing around $1,500 per month. There is no legally fixed minimum, so approvals are assessed case by case. Crucially, new residents benefit from a tax holiday on foreign-sourced income lasting 5 to 10 years, which for anyone receiving a foreign pension or investment income is a meaningful financial incentive. Monthly costs sit around $1,800 to $2,000 all in, with one-bedroom rents in central Montevideo ranging from $700 to $1,200. Entry-level property starts at $150,000. That said, Uruguay is noticeably more expensive than its neighbors. Argentina and Brazil both offer considerably lower day-to-day costs. Winters in Montevideo are damp and genuinely cold, and the country is small enough that domestic travel options are limited. Those seeking variety of landscape within a single country will feel the constraint. Number 13, West Virginia, USA. This one surprises people, and it should not. West Virginia is one of the most overlooked domestic relocation options for American retirees in 2026. The Appalachian landscape is genuinely beautiful, with forested ridgelines, river valleys, and 4 proper seasons. Morgantown and Charleston provide urban anchors, but the real draw is the cost structure. Property taxes here are the lowest of any state in the country. Entry-level homes start at around $130,000, rising to $200,000 for something comfortable. Farmland runs $2,800 to $3,600 per acre, which is remarkably affordable by national standards. Social Security income is fully exempt from state tax, and the state income tax rate is currently capped near 4.8% and phasing downward. For a retiree on a fixed income who wants Appalachian scenery, low bills, and proximity to the Mid-Atlantic corridor, this represents genuine value. On the downside, population decline is a real issue in many counties. Rural healthcare infrastructure outside the main cities is limited. Opioid crisis impacts remain visible in pockets of the state, and winter ice events can be disruptive. This is not for everyone, but for the right buyer, it is considerably underrated. Number 12. Florida, USA. Florida needs no introduction as a retirement destination. It has been drawing American retirees for decades, and the reasons remain sound. No state income tax, no estate tax, a homestead exemption that caps annual property tax increases under the Save Our Homes provision, warm year-round temperatures, and a massive established retiree community across both the Gulf and Atlantic coasts. Monthly costs in Florida range from roughly $2,200 to $3,300 all in depending on location, with one-bedroom rents in central areas running $1,300 to $1,900. Entry-level property now sits between $290,000 and $420,000. The honest caveat is that Florida's cost advantages are being steadily eroded. Home insurance premiums have risen sharply in recent years due to hurricane losses, and in some coastal counties they now represent a significant monthly cost that many budgeting guides fail to account for. Summer humidity and heat are genuine quality of life factors, and popular metros are seeing entry-level prices climb. It remains a strong option, but the value proposition is not what it was 5 years ago. Number 11. Medellín, Colombia. Medellín has spent the better part of a decade transforming its global image, and the transformation is real. Sitting at 1,500 meters in the Andes, the city enjoys what locals call eternal spring, temperatures hovering between 16 and 26 degrees Celsius year-round, no air conditioning needed. The metro system is modern and genuinely functional. Private healthcare is world-class by any standard, and remarkably affordable. The M11 migrant pensioner visa requires a pension income of $900 per month, one of the lowest thresholds on this list. A digital nomad visa is available for those earning $684 per month in remote income. Monthly living costs sit around $1,000 to $1,300 all in for a comfortable lifestyle, with one-bedroom rents ranging from $500 to $900. However, be aware that the El Poblado neighborhood, long the expat epicenter, has seen rental and property prices surge more than 50% since 2022. Savvy newcomers are already looking east to Laurels and Envigado for better value. Income inequality in the city is visible in ways that take adjustment. Altitude can also be a factor for those with certain health conditions. Number 10. Alabama, USA. Alabama is not a name that typically comes up in retirement relocation conversations, and that gap in attention is increasingly worth exploiting. The Gulf Coast strip around Mobile and Gulf Shores offers a genuinely pleasant warm-weather retirement lifestyle. Huntsville in the north is one of the fastest-growing cities in the southeast, anchored by aerospace and technology industries. Social Security and most pension income are exempt from state tax. Property taxes carry an effective rate of around 0.41%, the lowest of any state we cover in this video. Entry-level homes run $180,000 to $280,000, and monthly all-in costs land at $1,700 to $2,500. The downsides are real. Alabama summers are hot and humid. Tornado risk is a genuine consideration across much of the state. Rural healthcare in the Black Belt counties is limited, and public transit is essentially non-existent outside city centers. For those comfortable with car-dependent living and who prioritize low taxes over urban infrastructure, this is a quietly strong pick. Number 9. Lisbon, Portugal. Lisbon has dominated expat conversation for the better part of a decade, and the reasons are not hard to understand. a mild Atlantic climate, English widely spoken across service industries, EU residency access, excellent public hospitals, and a genuinely beautiful city built across 7 hills above the Tagus estuary. The D7 passive income visa requires proof of approximately €870 per month, aligned with Portugal's annual minimum wage threshold. It is one of the more accessible EU residency pathways available in 2026. Monthly costs in Lisbon now run $1,700 to $2,500, with one-bedroom rents in central areas ranging from $1,100 to $1,800. Entry-level property sits at $220,000 to $380,000. The honest story, though, is that Lisbon's cost advantage has shrunk considerably. Rents have risen more than 40% since 2020. The non-habitual resident tax regime, which was a major draw for foreign retirees, closed to new applicants in 2024. Tourist saturation in the historic centre is a quality-of-life issue. Lisbon remains a fine city, but those purely chasing value should look at number 2 on this list instead. Number 8, San Juan, Rincón, and Dorado, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico occupies a genuinely unique position on this list. It is a U.S. territory, which means no visa process at all for American citizens. U.S. dollars, the U.S. legal system, U.S. Postal Service, and direct mainland flights. The Caribbean lifestyle without the expat paperwork friction. Monthly costs range from $1,700 to $2,700 all in, with one-bedroom rent sitting between $900 and $1,700. Entry-level property runs $180,000 to $400,000 depending on area. The real story for high earners is Act 60. Under Act 60, new bona fide residents can access a 4% corporate tax rate, zero tax on Puerto Rico-sourced dividends and capital gains. For the right financial profile, this is one of the most powerful tax structures available under the US flag. That said, Act 60 carries serious compliance requirements. You must spend at least 183 days per year on the island and purchase a primary residence. Hurricane Maria in 2017 left visible marks in some areas, and the power grid remains unreliable in ways that genuine residents, not weekend visitors, feel acutely. Number 7, San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. San Miguel de Allende is one of the best-known expat destinations in the Americas, and for good reason. A UNESCO World Heritage colonial center, cobblestone streets, a vibrant arts culture, and a highland climate sitting at 1,900 meters that delivers temperatures of 18 to 25 degrees Celsius year-round. No humidity. No air conditioning required. The English-speaking expat community here is the deepest and most established in Mexico, with decades of infrastructure built around foreign residents. Monthly costs land around $1,600 to $2,000 all in, with rents at $800 to $1,500 for a one-bedroom. Mexico's temporary and permanent resident pathways are well understood and routinely handled. The process is smoother here than almost anywhere else in Latin America, partly because the consulates are well practiced and partly because the expat community has produced a cottage industry of local advisors who know the paperwork. The downside is that expat saturation has meaningfully gentrified prices, particularly in the centro. Altitude requires a period of physical adjustment. Those seeking the Mexico of 20 years ago will not find it here, though what remains is still genuinely appealing. Number 6, St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Kitts and Nevis holds a distinctive place on this list. It is not a cost-of-living destination in the conventional sense, but it is home to the world's oldest citizenship by investment program, running since 1984. The passport grants visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to more than 150 countries, including the full Schengen zone and the United Kingdom. The entry routes are a $250,000 donation to the National Development Fund or a $400,000 qualifying real estate investment. There is no income tax on residents. The political climate is stable by Caribbean standards. Monthly living costs run $2,000 to $3,200, reflecting the small island premium on imported goods. One-bedroom rents sit at $1,200 to $2,000. This is not a budget destination. The frank assessment is that St. Kitts belongs on this list for the passport, not the lifestyle value. The island is small, services are limited relative to larger nations, and the entry cost is significant. But for those whose primary goal is visa-free global mobility, it is a legitimate and well-established route. Number 5. Sofia, Bulgaria. Bulgaria does not get nearly the attention it deserves in European relocation conversations. Sofia is a functional, increasingly modern capital with a growing technology sector, fast broadband, and a cost of living that places it among the cheapest capitals in the European Union. Since March 2024, Bulgaria has been a full Schengen member. That is a meaningful upgrade, meaning residency here now connects to the full freedom of movement infrastructure of continental Europe. The flat income tax rate sits at 10%, the lowest in the EU. Monthly costs run $900 to $1,100 all in, with one-bedroom rents at $450 to $750. Entry-level property starts at $70,000. The residency route for non-EU nationals involves a long-stay D visa requiring demonstrated pension income of around €1,800 per month, transitioning to a one-year residence permit. The Cyrillic alphabet presents a genuine learning curve for Western arrivals, more so than in Latin destinations. And Bulgarian winters are legitimately cold, with temperatures regularly dropping below -5°C. Those who can tolerate the winters and the script adjustment will find Sofia offers remarkable value for a Schengen-connected European base. Number 4. Puglia, specifically Lex and Ostuni, Italy. Southern Italy's heel is one of the most genuinely underrated relocation destinations in Europe. The Adriatic and Ionian coastlines, whitewashed hilltop towns, some of the most distinctive architecture on the continent, the Trulli of the Itria Valley, and a food culture that rivals anything the country offers further north. The headline number here is the 7% flat tax on foreign pensions, available to those who relocate to towns with fewer than 20,000 residents. For retirees drawing a US or UK pension, this is a structurally significant advantage. Monthly all-in costs run $1,400 to $1,700, with one-bedroom rents at $600 to $1,000. Entry-level property starts at $80,000, and trolley houses in rural areas are still available under €100,000. The elective residency visa requires passive income of approximately €31,000 per year. That threshold places it out of reach for some, but within range for those drawing reasonable pension or investment income. Rural infrastructure is the honest caveat. Train connections and hospital access thin out considerably compared to northern Italy. Salento beach towns see heavy summer crowds that compress the calm that draws people in the first place. Number 3. Oklahoma, USA. Oklahoma rarely appears on relocation lists, and that oversight represents a real opportunity. The Tulsa and Oklahoma City metros are both growing meaningfully, with improving restaurant, arts, and healthcare infrastructure. Tulsa in particular has invested heavily in urban renewal and attracts remote workers through incentive programs. The tax profile is competitive. State income tax tops out at 4.75%. Social Security is exempt. Senior homestead exemptions and a property tax freeze for qualifying older residents further reduce the carrying cost of ownership. Entry-level homes run $170,000 to $260,000. The defining number, however, is farmland. At $1,800 to $2,400 per acre, Oklahoma offers some of the most affordable agricultural land in the United States. For those interested in small-scale rural ownership alongside a reasonable cost of living, this combination is hard to beat domestically. The honest downsides are tornado alley exposure, which is a genuine and recurring hazard, harsh summer heat, and an economy with meaningful oil sector volatility. The landscape lacks the coastal or mountain drama that draws many relocating retirees, though the Waikita Range in the east offers more than the state's reputation suggests. Number 2. The Algarve, specifically Lagos, Tavera, and Faro, Portugal. The Algarve sits in a different position from Lisbon on this list for a specific reason. While Lisbon has seen its cost advantages shrink sharply, the Algarve still offers a more measured price structure outside peak tourist months, an established English-speaking expat community, and over 300 sunny days per year across a coast that genuinely delivers on its reputation. The D7 passive income visa applies here as it does across Portugal, requiring demonstrated income around €870 per month, one of the more accessible thresholds for EU residency in Western Europe. Monthly costs in the Algarve run $1,500 to $2,000 all in, with one-bedroom rents ranging from $900 to $1,500. Entry-level property starts at $180,000, still meaningfully below comparable coastal regions in Spain or France. The drawback that requires honest attention is seasonality. From June through August, high-season tourism effectively doubles prices in the most popular towns and compresses the available rental market. Those planning to rent long-term need to secure arrangements well before summer, as short-term tourism pulls inventory off the market entirely. Tavera and the eastern Algarve offer a more stable year-round character than the western towns. Number 1. Tennessee, USA. Tennessee in 2026 represents the convergence of several factors that are difficult to match anywhere else on this list simultaneously: no state income tax, a genuinely mild four-season climate, Smoky Mountains and Cumberland Plateau scenery, growing healthcare infrastructure in Nashville and Knoxville, and a property market that, while rising, still offers entry-level access at $220,000 to $340,000. Monthly all-in costs run $1,800 to $2,800. One-bedroom rents sit at $1,100 to $1,500. Farmland runs for $1,500 to $7,000 per acre, which reflects the state's desirability but remains below comparable land in the southeast coastal states. The effective property tax rate is around 0.66%, and many counties offer senior property tax freeze programs for residents over 65. For a retiree drawing Social Security and pension income, Tennessee's zero state income tax is not a minor detail. Over a decade, the cumulative saving versus a high-tax state is substantial. The Smoky Mountains corridor, anchored by Gatlinburg and Sevierville, offers a retirement lifestyle with genuine scenic character. Knoxville serves as a grounded mid-size city with a functioning healthcare system and a lower cost base than Nashville. The honest caveats are real. Summers in the Central Belt are humid and hot. Tornado risk is a recurring concern in the Middle Tennessee flatlands. Nashville area property prices are climbing fast enough that entry-level buyers should look to surrounding counties rather than the city proper. And public transit outside urban cores is essentially non-existent. What Tennessee offers, however, is a complete package: no state income tax, accessible property, four-season livability, and scenery that makes the American Southeast more compelling than its flyover reputation suggests. For domestic relocation, it earns the top position on this list. And there you have it, 15 of the easiest and most accessible residency pathways and relocation options available in 2026, from the Caribbean to Southern Europe, from Latin America to the American South. If this breakdown was useful, consider subscribing. We cover destinations like these every week. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.